probably the less hassle as far as traffic. It's probably early Sunday morning, but, you know, your experience may be different in your market. When did you normally do yours?
Yeah, well, I was putting them out basically I did that Sunday morning, then I changed it to Friday, then I even done it Saturday. But I guess in Atlanta, I was told, you know, to try, you know, putting them out on Friday evening because that's when, like, code enforcement and people be gone, and then just go back and pick them up on Sunday. But that's just in the county I live. But other counties in Atlanta, you could just leave them up. They could stay up for months and months because I still have some signs that have been up since I first started putting up bandit signs. But it's just, you know, it depends on the county you live, you know, whether, how anal they are about, you know, you putting up bandit signs. They're not going to take you to jail, but they'll just tell you, you know, you can't put them up or blah, blah, blah. So, but,
yeah, that's one of the things I tell people, you know, some just within a market, obviously Atlanta is a huge metropolitan area. Some places are going to be okay. You'll get the bang for your buck. Sometimes they're going to come down almost immediately, but you won't really know that until you just test different areas. That's something that I just can't just possibly, you know, determine for you. It's just more somewhat testing. I know you say, well, that's wasting money. But no, it's not wasting money because at the end of the day, more than likely, I'm assuming, I don't know, but you should, after that first deal, you should be in the black as far as the money you spent, you know, at this point. Putting that first deal together. Oh, as far as I know you said you made $8,000. Go into because we don't have much time. I only scheduled this for 30 minutes. Go into the actual deal again. I cut you off, but go into the actual deal again so people can see how this was actually put together. I know you said you've been talking to her since Christmas. So go into or what happened after that.
Oh, yes. Again, I've been talking to the homeowner since Christmas. Really got the house on the contract, I think it was around February. And then it was actually a weird kind of a deal because if you are used to doing the Mayo formula, you know, the 70 cents or whatever times the ARV minus repairs, there was no way this house would have worked because it was already at $28,000 ARV and it had about $29,000 of repairs. So it was a different way that I had to structure it because I had to base it off of the terms, off of the cash flow. Once we did the numbers, it brought a $400 to $500 positive cash flow to an investor. So it had to be in a specific type of investor that would take this type of deal. So we went back and forth and back and forth. Someone was going to buy it and didn't buy it. So I had called the lady back and said, well, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to get the property. Then I was told to call her back and say, okay, we'll be able to give you what we can give you. And then by that time, it just looked like it wasn't going to go, she wasn't, didn't want to, it passed the contract time. So we had a contract set for 40 days. I had someone else that was supposed to be, helping me out with the deal. I was actually allowing one person to control the deal for me. Never do that. Learned that from experience. So I only was left with like 10 days to find a buyer. So I found the.
When you say someone was trying to control this, I know what you mean, but they may not know what you mean. You mean you had another buyer saying that they were going to buy it, right?
Right. And after 30 days, after 30 days, the guy, finally decided that no, he wasn't going to buy it. So they only left me 10 days to try to, to get the deal to sell, to find a buyer. So, I called Tyrone hysterical, like, oh my God, what I'm going to do is 10 days left. So he told me what to do, put the price of the house, put the amount on the bandit sign and just put the bandit signs around where I was trying to sell the house. So I got several calls, like almost immediately, wanting to know, about the house. So this one particular person, he must have called me like the next day, and today I found out that he said that it was at night when he saw my sign. So he was just getting to Atlanta like a week, prior to him seeing my sign. So he didn't really know where he saw the sign at. So he had to like ride around back where he thought he saw the sign at just to find it again and give me a call. So and he actually wasn't an investor. He was actually somebody that his brothers, and they were like handymen. They could do, the rehab work. But it was just his first week in Atlanta. He had $20,000 to buy a home, and he saw my sign for 19.5, and he gave me a call. So, but still, the deal wasn't closed yet because we was going back and forth, and they were a little skeptical. His parents brought him the money. They were just skeptical about the deal. How legitimate is this deal? I assured them that everything was legit. I dealt with a closing attorney. So they were still like skeptical. So finally, lo and behold, I convinced them that. Well, actually, they even said that the buyer, she didn't want to extend the contract. So she said, no, we can't extend the contract, and we can't sell it by blah blah blah. That's the end of it, because it had been 45 days. So I didn't hear no.
Well, what did you have it in the contract for? Let them know what you negotiated for, what you had it on the contract for.
Okay, I had it on the contract for 19.5, and
what the seller?
Oh, for the seller for $10,000.
Okay.
Yeah, for $10,000, right? And we had it on the bandit sign for 19.5. That's the lease from the negotiating room. So when we, she didn't want to go through with it, so I didn't hear no at that point. I had invested so much time and into this. I had gone so long without a deal, and it's like, I'm confident in this, so I went ahead and furthered it and, did the title search, and everything came back. There were 2 blemishes on the title report, but they took care of that. They had paid. It was all free and clear. That was another advantage I had in my favor. But somewhere it wasn't recorded that they had, in fact, had it cleared. So I guess it was just a matter of the attorney calling and whomever he called, and they just got whatever they needed, and we were able to clear that. This was like a day before the closing, so it was something that they handled very quickly, which I was glad for. So
At what point did you? Okay, I know you called me. Was it last Friday or was it last Thursday? And you was like, what time I got the earnest money from the buyer? They gave you $1,000, right? I think.
Right. Yeah, that was Friday.
Call me,
yeah.
and but you said, and I said, well, you got to call your buyer. But she said, well, we're supposed to close on Saturday, which that was
right.
odd day, but that was the last day. So,
right.
And I just told you call him back, ask for more time. So you called me back. You said they said he's not going to give me any more time. And just take it from there. Just take it from there. What you did from there.
Oh, and I was just hysterical. I was just, oh my God, I couldn't believe it after I, put so much into it. So what I assured her was that, I finally got, a buyer, that has given me a substantial down payment for the home. We've done, we're now going to run the title search to make sure that there's no liens or anything against the property. So when she was saying, no, we're not, only thing I heard was, we're on our way. We're getting the title report done. Everything is clear. I got a substantial deposit. I now have a buyer. We're ready to go with this. So then, by me being persistent, she said, well, okay, we'll go ahead and give you the Tuesday, which was this past Tuesday. So because there was some discrepancy about the wiring. Well, if I wire all my money, I want to make sure this is good and I get my money back and blah, blah, blah. So I assured the, the buyer that everything was legit. I had a closing attorney. We've done a title search. There's a good title. So, we're ready to rock and roll. So once we got everything set on Tuesday, we set the closing for Thursday, which was today. So everyone met today. I met the buyer came in first. Like I got that from Tyrone. Met with them first and got everything. Got the money for got all the money transfers and things done. And then the seller came in, say like an hour later, and then we completed the transaction. So and that's when. I'm sorry.
So they never saw each other, the buyer and the seller.